Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's been a minute, I know, but we're back for the Day of Love to celebrate it the best way you can with blood and guts and gore. So I thought I'd take this video to break down some of the Valentine's Day horror movies that exist out there. Some of them new in the theaters right now, others oldie classics. Let's get into it. First, I want to talk about the Hulu Into the Dark movies. If you don't know, I did a video about this during Christmas. If you don't know, Into the Dark is a series of horror movies, each based around a holiday. My last video, I talked about the Christmas horror movies and the New Year's Eve horror movies, and now it's time to talk about the Valentine's Day horror movies in this series. The movies are called Down and My Valentine, so let's start with Down first. It was released in 2019, and it basically follows this woman who gets trapped in an elevator on Valentine's Day with this guy. Classic meet cute, right? But then it turns out maybe the guy isn't so nice after all, and he orchestrated this whole thing. My favorite part of this movie was the first part before the big twist, you could say, gets revealed, but I don't think it's a twist. I think it's part of the premise of the movie that the guy isn't a good guy, so I don't feel bad spoiling it. But before the twist, it was actually kind of nice, just seeing how these people would logistically survive in an elevator. It's a long weekend, so they're trapped there for 4 days. No one's coming to save them. And then there's even a part where the woman has to pee, and then the guy has to just like stand in the corner and be like, I'm not listening. So that was interesting, logistically. You don't really see that often in the stuck in an elevator type situations. But as you can probably guess, is that it's kind of been done before multiple times in this trapped in an elevator, trapped in somewhere else, just the one location, you're stuck here. It doesn't really do anything to innovate upon that. She has to escape, and then they, spoiler alert, get out of the elevator, and they do a little cat and mouse thing that I've seen before. And if you're a horror movie fanatic, you might recognize this plot similar to the movie P2, which is a Christmas movie, which follows a security guard who traps a woman in a parking garage during Christmas. And it's basically the exact same plot, but instead of an elevator, it's a parking garage. It's done a lot better, in my opinion. I really like P2. I think it has more interesting commentary to say, specifically about incel culture and when men feel entitled to something, specifically a woman's body, and also just better horror moments. So if the movie Down sounds interesting at all, I'd actually just recommend you check out P2. It's not a Valentine's Day movie, it's a Christmas movie, but I just think it does everything Down does, but better. And like the previous video, I rate these movies on how fitting they are to the holiday itself, so I have to give Down a 6 out of 10 on the Valentine's Day meter.
We're locked in this box, but we're still a million miles apart.
Now let's talk about the second Into the Dark Valentine's Day movie called My Valentine. This movie is about a singer who dates her manager, and she really wants to, become big and famous, and the manager is like, I can help you get there. They're dating, and he basically takes control of her life and gives her new hair and a new personality and all that stuff. And ultimately, he's really toxic to her, so then they break up, and then the manager goes on and finds another girl and does the whole same thing to her, gives her the same hair and same personality and all that, and that girl ends up blowing up and becoming really famous, and now everyone thinks the original girl is just a rip-off of the famous girl, even though the original girl did it first, but all the while it's literally the manager just manipulating these two women. And that's like the backstory of the movie. The whole main plot of the movie takes place in one nightclub over the course of one night as the manager just kills people. It's an interesting premise, one that I don't think needed to be a horror movie per se, and one that I don't want to talk too badly upon it because I think it is very much limited by its budget. It stays in this one location. If it had the freedom to do other locations and more grand scenes, I think that would have really benefited from it, but the fact that it takes place in one location over one night, I don't think serves the premise of the story of that this toxic man, making these two women into what they are. And you might be wondering, well, what's even the connection to Valentine's Day? It's the fact that the singer's last name is Valentine, and then it's about dating, I guess, as well. And I'm pretty sure it takes place on Valentine's Day or something. And honestly, I would have to give my Valentine a 4 out of 10 on the Valentine's Day meter.
Recreated me on your body. You need some serious therapy.
And adding the Valentine's Day movies into the Dark ranking list, here's what it looks like. And again, if my Valentine sounds interesting to you at all, may I recommend Companion instead. I think if you want a Valentine's Day horror movie about men in a controlling relationship, men controlling women and all those themes, I think Companion does it really well. I think maybe the main critique is that this isn't really a horror movie. It's like a thriller of like, can this person escape the situation she's in while, people are dying along the way? It's not too much of a horror, but hey, there's blood in it. So if you don't know what Companion is about, it's basically Jack Quaid plays this guy who has a robot girlfriend, and then he tries to pin a murder on the robot girlfriend, all while the robot girlfriend, played by Sophie Thatcher, sort of like becomes aware of the situation and tries to get out of being pinned for the murder while trying to, actually put it back on Jack Quaid. I think Sophie Thatcher does a wonderful performance of being a robot and experiencing these like emotions for the first time and crying and doing all that stuff. And I also think that the script is really well done. People say, oh no, there's no original movies, Hollywood's dead. Here's one right for you. Go support it and give it money if you want to see more. And it's just basically a lot of setup and payoff. Some of it, I will say, is predictable. There's a lot of close-up shots of an object, and then you're like, I wonder if that object is going to be used in 30 minutes. And of course, it is. Just so many things that were set up before do get paid off, and it's fun, no matter how predictable some of it is. And good performances, and it's funny. I laughed out loud, which is like hard to do these days for comedies. I think it's original, and like the marketing says, it's a good date night film. So if you're looking for something to do with your partner, maybe go take them to see Companion. Speaking of Valentine's Day horror movies in theaters right now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Hard Eyes. I actually got these glasses at an early screening of Hard Eyes with the director and cast there, so that was cool seeing them all in person. Like I said in my Blumhouse video, I thought, Hard Eyes was going to be the we're so back moment. Slashers are back. Bloody, gory, R-rated, just people dying slashers are back. I was slightly wrong, but also not in a way where like I hated this movie. I said in the Blumhouse video that like Hard Eyes follows a friend group getting killed. That's not true. There is no friend group. Basically what this movie is, it's a mix between a rom-com and a horror movie. That's what the people who made it said. The writers were there too during the Q&A, and the writers were like, it's a rom-com horror movie. And so basically it just follows one couple this whole time. This one couple who's being tracked down by the Heart Eyes killer, and so they have to run away from the killer, and along the way the killer kills other people as well. So it's not necessarily a friend group. So I was wrong about that. I did really like the rom-com elements of this, the romance elements and the chemistry between Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. I really enjoyed the kills. It's bloody, it's gory, and it's the we're so back slasher moment we've all been waiting for. But my main problem, I guess, with the movie, my main critique, is that it's slightly, I think, too similar to Scream and its plot structure sort of thing. It's like a couple, and then the boyfriend gets accused of being the killer, and then I don't want to spoil anything at the end, but if you've seen the movie, you know how it's similar to Scream. Maybe I just spoiled it in itself by saying that. So I did think it had some issues with its pacing on when the killer can show up and do kills versus balancing, you know, the romance between the two characters, and especially near the end where there's like a fake out ending and then there's actually more to it. I just wish the ending was more clean and the kills were more meaningful, because when in other slasher movies like Scream, where it is a friend group, you get to know the friends, and then when someone dies, you're like, oh dang, like my favorite character just died, versus this movie where it's just like, okay, there's a couple here, and then the killer comes and then just kills someone else you met in that scene, and you're like, dang. Not saying that they don't kill other characters that you know, but I don't know, it just kind of, you know, I just wish the kills were more meaningful and we felt that impact more. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it, maybe mostly because I saw it with the cast and crew there, and you can just see how much love went into this movie, Valentine's Day pun, and the amount of passion and how much fun everyone had working on this. I was like, okay, I had fun watching it too, in a crowded theater where everyone clapped when someone died. Yeah, so I'm sure other people will just be like, okay, this is kind of stupid Hollywood and horror schlop, but I enjoyed it, and may I remind you that we don't always get slashers when it comes to horror movies put out there, and this one is special in that way. And speaking of Valentine's Day slashers, I want to end the video by giving a shout out to My Bloody Valentine, the 2009 remake. I haven't seen the original, but I really want to now. I just watched this last night, and oh my god, like this really did something for me. I really liked it. It resonated with me. I'm like, this is how you do a slasher. Speaking of being a little bit derivative of Scream, it is, but not in like the way you think. It's similar to Scream in the way of there's a slasher going around and it's a bit of a whodunit. We don't know who's behind the mask, but it does a good job of giving everyone a motive, and the kills were gory and great and over the top campy, that it just feels good when it's like just something it's simple but it's done right. The main like slasher villain is a miner with a pickaxe, and that pickaxe is used in multiple different crazy ways, which I really enjoyed. Just like the classic slasher with an identity. You know the pickaxe is going to be used, and it does it well. The ending of the movie I thought was great and really separated itself from any ties with Scream or whatever, because basically there's a woman, and then she's basically with two men, and the one man is saying, hey, that guy's the killer, and the other guy's going, no, that guy's the killer. And we as the audience, we don't know who to believe. We don't know who's right. Both guys have motivation to do it. Both guys have mysteriously disappeared when the killer comes, and it really gets you on the edge of your seat guessing who's what, and I really enjoyed it for that reason. Instead of just doing some grand reveal of someone taking off a mask, it's like genuine tension of, uh-oh, is this woman in the room with the killer right now, or is it the other guy? And also, it's really, really campy, cheesy 3D effects that were used in 2009, I think were just great. I wish I saw this movie in 3D, because there's so many shots and kills that involve the pickaxe like coming towards the camera, and oh man, I wish I saw that in 3D when I was 7 when it came out. I don't think my mom would have taken me though. Thank you for watching this more chill video where I just ramble about Valentine's Day horror movies. I know I haven't posted for the past few weeks. I'm sorry. I got in sort of this reflective state on what I want the channel to be and where I want it to go. And I felt this way before when I've been posting weekly, where sometimes because of that schedule, I think sometimes the quality of the video lessens because I have to get it out on a certain deadline and do it weekly, when I wish I could put more time into the script or into the editing. And sometimes I want to make videos that require me to watch like 7 movies, and I'll compare all of them, and sometimes I can't watch 7 movies in a week and then write the script and then film it and then edit it. I want to take more time making my videos to make sure they're the best quality they can be, which means maybe not weekly uploads, but hopefully you all are satisfied in the long run because of it. Also, I want to try dipping my toe more into that video essay sphere, because what I do now, I would not qualify it as a video essay. The only real one I think I've ever done is about The Descent, where I actually use like academic sources and all that stuff, and I argue a thesis, and I only did that because that was for a class I took in college, and then I repurposed it into a YouTube video. And I also want to make more videos like the Yellow Brick Road one, which blew up, and I should have been making more similar videos just to try and chase that success, but I haven't been doing that, so I probably should start doing that. And also, I just like giving, you know, more smaller indie horror films a shout out. I am currently working on a video essay that I find very interesting, and hopefully you guys will too. And hopefully that will be out as soon as it's ready. Thank you for watching. Have a great Valentine's Day. Eat some chocolate, and I'll see you next time.